what's good? What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Muthana, and we're back with another great episode of Good Friends, Better Rivals. We are in the off season. Season's over. So these next couple weeks, we're gonna be talking NFL Combine, free agency. Why do our teams hate us? Why do they sign this man? Why can't we restructure a contract? And Caleb, most importantly, how do the New Orleans Saints keep getting away with their lack of salary cap? But I'm not alone. I'm never alone. Like I said, I'm with my main man, Caleb. Caleb, how are you, my man?
I'm good. Just trying to get through this period of time where there's no football on until we get to the UFL. Which
Yeah, the
hopefully
UFL.
cover.
Yeah, it was a possibility covering because last year we talked about the USFL, we talked about XFL, but now they're combined. It now there's one league. It's the United Football League. The teams that survived the merger are a couple. I'm very sad that our Houston Gamblers, Caleb, did not survive.
No.
Our Houston Gamblers did not survive. The Houston Roughnecks survived, but our Houston Gamblers didn't survive. So God rest the Houston Gamblers. St. Louis survived, and I think Vegas survived. Vegas,
Nope.
Vegas did not survive.
No.
Was it
It's
San
like
Antonio?
basically all the Texas teams.
All the Texas teams in the XFL died.
No, they all survived. There's still
So San Antonio, Arlington,
still in Houston,
and Houston. Personally, I would have went with the Gamblers over the Roughnecks, but it is what it is. But I digress. All right, let's get in with Caleb. Man, how you doing, man? How you doing? Just how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm
That's
decent.
good, man. That's good. You watched some combine today? Because that's kind of the main topic of this season. This episode, we're gonna talk combine, right? It's the first early days of combine. We have yesterday we had the linebackers and the defensive linemen through their drills. Today, as of right now, as we're filming, I believe the first 3 hours have been all DBs. The DBs are doing their 40 right now as we're speaking. I think, and then we're bringing in the tight ends after that, right? The tight ends are next. Initially, man, Caleb, let's talk about, like, do you like the combine? Do you think it, what do you care? Do you care for it? Do you think it matters overall?
I think it matters for certain positions. Obviously, I think a lot matters with the quarterbacks. I mean, I think that obviously it's the most important position. Throwing. You go look back last year. I thought C.J. Stroud had a hell of a combine. I said on this channel that he really surprised me of just how he threw this period. Obviously, you saw that into the season that he was the standout quarterback from that class. Yep. But then you also see a guy like Anthony Richard really improved his draft status with the numbers that he put up in the combine, which is his 48-40 and all the jumps and all the other stuff that they measure. He really shined in that, and I think that got him drafted well. So I think it, and I think just with the interviews that they do at the combine,
absolutely
really helps with the quarterbacks. I think that really only matters with the quarterback position, to get to know, like, is this guy going to be the leader for my team? What's his attitude like? And you can get all that through the interview process. So I think it mostly helps the quarterbacks. But then you can see a guy that may not have like so much production in college have really good numbers in the combine. And then, that might overshadow his game tape because he might not have gotten all these numbers while he was playing, but he put up good numbers during the combine. That improves his draft stat as well, because every coach believes that they can work with a guy that has athletic attributes,
raw athletic tools. Yep.
And so he may not have had the best college game, but the coaches think like, oh, they have something to work with, and that improves their draft status as well, just from their pure physical attributes that they have. That also helps as well.
Yeah.
But overall, just a lot of the running and stuff like that for like off the line and deep the line doesn't really matter too much. I mean,
the 40, I honestly really kind of disregard the 40 for the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
If an offensive lineman runs a good 40, that's good, but I kind of just look at
if you're running 40 yards for a lineman, you did something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You messed up. and you're chasing for whatever reason.
Yeah. I focus with the offensive linemen when they run their 40, their 10-yard split. In the 10 yards, how fast did they go in their 10 yards? Over 40 yards, I really don't need you to do anything, really. I think it's pretty much just kind of athletic testing. Who's athletic, who's not athletic, what has God gifted you and gifted someone not named you, and kind of that, you to this day, Byron Jones in his 12-3 broad jump still holds the record. I believe that's the world record. I think it's because I know that's the combine record, but I don't know if it's close to the world record. So Byron Jones, the Dallas Cowboys drafted Byron Jones. It worked out for them mostly, right? Mostly.
Well, I mean, at the beginning, it was because he was out of position and put him at safety when he should have been a corner.
Yeah. But when you made him a corner, it worked.
Yeah. Then it definitely worked.
The 40 is the great eraser. You run a great 40, people look at you a little different. Everyone remembers John Ross breaks Chris Johnson's 40 record. He gets drafted in the first round by the Cincinnati Bengals. Should he have been drafted in the first round by the Cincinnati Bengals? Personally, I watched a lot of him in college. He was a good receiver. Injuries kind of took a toll on him. He was very fast, but he wasn't big. He wasn't physical. He couldn't, jamming him. All I'll say is this, man. Short guy with speed is always beaten by bigger guy with speed. Because the bigger guy can be physical with the smaller guy. It happens all the time.
Another drill that really like to look at is the 3-cone. I think
the 3-cone, absolutely.
For
yes,
a lot of the positions.
Definitely defensive lineman. Defensive lineman doing the 3-cone and the 20-yard shuttle, I believe, where they pick up when they pick up the towel and they place it, because they don't do cone. They do so that one. And I think Myles Garrett is someone that one time did the 3-cone and the 20-yard shuttle that made everyone like freak out, because that's how it be. We got a couple of I got some stats. Let's talk about early on. So
I think the guy that from yesterday that showed out the most was Chop Robinson from Penn State.
Yep, defensive end Chop Robinson. Yes,
and like you said, obviously we're not looking so much as a 40 because defensive line are running 40 yards, but his 10-yard split was the best. His 10-yard split was the best of
him and Dallas Turner tied. So Dallas Turner, people big fans of Chop Robinson. Dallas Turner had the same 10-yard split, 1.54. And then in the 40, he beat him by 0.2, which he went 4.6 and Chop went 4.8. So they're neck and neck. So him and
that's what I'm talking about. Not so much production, because Chop Robinson only had like 4 sacks during the season. That's not it wasn't that much production, but I think at times like a time like that can really improve your draft stat. You might have been looked at like maybe in the back half of the first round, but now he's maybe top 15 now after those numbers. That's how it can improve a guy's draft stat when you put up a number like that.
Yeah, and because you bring up the 20-yard shuttle, he was second behind Marshawn Neeland from Western Michigan, and he was nowhere to be seen in the 3-cone. I don't think he did the 3-cone. Marshawn Neal. So these two drills, the defensive linemen, the defensive ends or defensive tackles that top the 3-cone and the 20-yard shuttle, I investigate them after the combine. I investigate them. It's like, who is? So I will be investigating who Marshawn Neeland is, because those are. Because defensive linemen care about, because you play defensive tackle, a defensive end, and linebacker. I play defensive tackle and defensive end. It's all about changing direction. Yeah. You go one way, but you got to go the other way. You go left, but you got to go right. You're going right. You got to go left. You got to. Do you get up? Do you get down? Like what are we doing here? And I think some of the big names coming out. Chop Robinson, but a lot of defensive tackles, Caleb. A lot of defensive tackles, especially the duo from Texas in Tavondre Sweat and Byron Murphy the second. They
see, that's where I think it's like, sometimes it doesn't matter. I mean, sometimes you just gotta look at it, because a guy with like Tavondre Sweat, Well, he's got a great tape. I mean, he was a menace in
Mm-hmm.
that middle for the Longhorns. You know, as a Longhorns fan, obviously just a fan of Big 12,
Mm-hmm.
you never see defense. You know, but this past season, I was like, oh my god, we finally got a defense. We actually have a real defense, and a lot had to do with those two guys in the middle, with Byron Murphy and Mondre Sweat. And Mondre Sweat, he's a huge guy. I mean, dude's gigantic. So
350.
yeah, I mean, so obviously he's not going to put up great numbers at that size, with what he is. But so you really just got to look at the tape and see at that size of what he can really do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, Byron Murphy did have a pretty good number. I mean, he finished pretty well in that 10-yard split. So that definitely helps his case.
Yeah, Byron Murphy's 10-yard split was 1.69. And I think his 40-yard dash, he's third at 4.87. And my thing is this, man, the defensive tackles, man, they were kind of talked about more of a the teammate duos, right? You have Byron Murphy the second and Trevondre Sweat from Texas, but then you also had the LSU kids, Mason Smith and Makai Wingo. So it was kind of them, and then but someone who topped all of them was Braden Fisk out of Florida State. Braden Fisk out of Florida State, when he was doing the four pad drill where you got to go up and down and you got to go, then you got to go over it, then you got to go up and then back and forth, and he showed smooth movement over it. Same thing with all the other cats, but he was smooth and fast, and he showed he's the big winner. He's the big winner. He is the guy who's probably going to sneak in to the first round, because of this athletic testing and the way he kind of blew it out of the water. The four bags, those I like because you show how high they can get on their feet and they're changing direction, right? They got to go forward, then they got to go back, and they got to go forward and back and forward. So some people mess up the drill. Some people were kind of lazy in the drill. I'll talk about laziness a little bit earlier when we kind of talk about early on today with the DBs when they were doing their hip drill where they have to open up their hips and then break away. Some of them were slow. Some of them were scared backpedaling. Some of them were slow backpedaling. And you heard the DB coach at the combine say, I think it was either speed it up or hustle. He's telling them to hurry up. You gotta be faster. Add some more speed to your back pedal and your breakout. So the DBs kind of didn't look good today. They didn't really look good the early parts because when the DB coaches keep telling you to keep yo, speed it up, hurry up, let's go. That's bad. But with the big men, you don't expect them to be fast, but they were fast. Yeah. And they were athletic. They're freaks, Caleb. Mason Smith, Caleb, is a freak. He's not a human being. Dwayne Carter out of Duke. This defensive tackle class is pretty good. It's pretty deep. It has a lot of potential. But that right there, Caleb, you know me, Caleb. That's the scariest word in sports, right, Caleb? He has potential.
Yeah.
The potential's there. You know what I mean? And you get enamored by it, and you draft someone, be like, he has the potential, and then he doesn't pan out because one, either you overestimated his potential or you screwed him up. It's not really one way or the other. So there's that. But Braden Fisk, he's the big winner of day one of the combine, I think. Shout out to Braden Fisk. Did you see any of the linebackers? I unfortunately missed the linebacker segment of the early days personally because I was really focused on
work, so I couldn't really watch it either.
So yeah, I was focused on the defensive tackles. They were ginormous. They were smooth. They were fluid. Their plan and goals were crisp. Unlike earlier today with the DBs, the cornerbacks, where a lot of them ran a good 40. Nate Wiggins ran a good 40, but he injured himself. So he injured himself. It was a hip flexor, so we couldn't see him in the field drills, unfortunately. But like I said, in some of those field drills, Caleb, there was some laziness. Like you're a corner. Your life is in the back pedal. It's in the back pedal. That's your life. and they were slow. They were slow in their back pedal. Like, you should really kind of like, this is kind of like in a game, being in a slow back pedal, like means something, right? It means something. You may have to slow play it. You may have to slow play it, and then you burst, right? But you're not guarding anybody. No one's running at you. You're just showing your hip fluidity. And a lot of them didn't show very good of it. A lot of these DBs, man, some of them are pretty slow. Some of them are pretty slow. But I think those were the safeties. But some of these DBs, man, you gotta show your hip fluidity when you're breaking out. When you're breaking out, you gotta show it. And a lot of the corners who ran like I said, a lot of the corners who ran the 40 didn't do a lot of field drills. They kind of did the 40, then they kind of left. Because a lot of the prospects, they pick and choose what they want to do, right? Like big story coming out of the combine, off of the two of the top 5 prospects. Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't doing media. Didn't do the media. He interviewed with the individual teams, and apparently coming out of the interviews, very personable. They all loved him, of course. You know what I mean? But he didn't do his press conference with the media. He didn't do that. Caleb Williams, another big story. He's not doing any medical examinations at the combine.
That's weird. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen that before.
First time ever.
Yeah.
First time ever. So he's like, either.
I mean, is there like a reason? Do you think he's hiding an injury, or?
It's twofold. I think it's one or the other. It's either he's hiding an injury and he's waiting for it to heal, right? Because he'll get personal medical examination by the teams later on in the combine. Or he's like, why the hell should I give you all my medical records when I know I'm not going to leave the top 3? Why? I should only give my medical records to the Bears, to Washington, and to New England. Why do I need to give it to San Diego, Los Angeles? Why do I need to give it to Dallas, the Giants? Like, why? Because one, I'm not leaving the top 3. He's not. Like, why should I, like, four is Arizona. Why should I give it to Arizona? I'm not leaving the top 3. You know what I mean? It's the famous Deion Sanders story where the Giants made him like study for a book, like study. It's like, we want you to study. And he asked them, when are you picking? And they're like, oh, we're picking 12th. And they're like, yeah, I ain't doing all that. I'm gone by 5. And guess what happened? He was gone by 5. Atlanta drafted him at like 5 or 6. He's like, so, could one or the other. Either he's hiding something, he's injured, and he's waiting for it to heal so he can then pass a physical later on down the road, or he's like, why the hell do I need to do a full medical release of all my records and the Chiefs have my medicals? Who cares? Like, who cares? Or he doesn't want them to find something that's going to ruin them. Like a Chiefs doctor be like, oh, I found like this in him. It's like a Chiefs doctor ruins a stock. You know what I mean? So it could be one or the other. It's unprecedented. Never happened, but it's one or the other. He's hiding something very severe that he's waiting for it to heal. Not severe, maybe injury for waiting it to heal. Or he's like, why the hell should I give my medical records to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Why? Because when the medical examination at the combine, they get released league wide. You do your medical, everybody in the league gets it. So he's like, I'm not leaving the top 3. I'm gonna do my personal medical examinations with, Bears, Washington, and New England. And then and if their doctors are okay with it, I'm fine. If they find something they don't like, but they can deal with it, good. But what if a Jacksonville Jaguars doctor finds it and ruins my stock? It's a game. It's lying season, Caleb. It's lying season. No one's telling the truth. Everyone's lying. Someone's saying this, someone's saying that. Everyone thought the Niners are going to draft Mac Jones. And Kyle Shanahan, instead of debunking that, he let everyone think that because he played everybody and he drafted Trey Lance. He never denied it and he never okayed it. He just used it because, the media took a story and ran with it without actually fact checking with the Niners. And the Niners are very coy with who they were drafting, so you couldn't have really known. So they just kept the Mac Jones train. But then when Trey Lance was drafted, everyone was like, "Oh, we're stupid." It's like, yeah, you were stupid because you got played by Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Don't believe when March hits, Caleb, late February, March. Don't believe a single word out of a GM's mouth. Don't believe a single word out of his mouth. Because we actually have a story coming out of the Giants. They're still going through negotiations with, Saquon Barkley. And I think the big thing was Josina Anderson. Yeah. And the thing with Josina Anderson, Josina Anderson said something that kind of I was like, what? Like, what? Let me find her tweet. Because it kind of made me laugh, no lie. I'm like, huh? I don't understand that. What are you talking about? Let me see where is it? Continue, Caleb. Anything coming out of Dallas that's interested you?
I mean, just the contracts. I mean, I don't know if you want to leave that for the upcoming free agency talks. Because there's
we'll do that. Yeah,
talks on Dak Prescott's contract and all the people got to sign. No, we got to sign him. He only has 1 year left. And are we going to make him the highest paid quarterback of all time? But yeah, I mean, we can just finish up on the combine stuff. What I'm looking forward to watching. I think the 40-yard dash really helps. I think it says most about the running backs more than the receivers. Because receivers still need to run good routes. You still need to catch the ball. And you've seen a lot of receivers with bad 40 times and they still really great players. I think that's why I think it matters more with a running back, because a running back just got to run the ball. I mean, if you can run a good 40, you at least show that you have breakaway speed. You can if you get the ball in your hands, you'll get away from guys and create space for yourself and hit a home run like that. So I think it says a lot more about the running backs than it does the receivers personally. Now, obviously, I'm looking at this when the skill guys come up. I'm going to be looking for obviously all the Texas players. Obviously, you even said the duos. We got plenty of duos with the running backs.
Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah.
Even though Adonai Mitchell is from Georgia.
Yeah. So we got the two receivers and we got two running backs with Jonathan Brooks and Keelan Robinson. So definitely looking forward to watching. And then we got the tight end, Jalen Sanders. So yeah, we got a lot of guys.
People are high on him. Actually, I think the Giants were told they're in the running for a tight end because, like I said, the story coming out is Darren Waller was contemplating retirement. That was a story. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but that was the story. It's like he may not come back. But let me tell you the story about with Josina Anderson. This tweet just kind of befuddled me. What she was talking about, she was like, I'm told the Giants and running back Saquon Barkley's representatives had a good initial meeting on Wednesday at the scouting combine, per source. My understanding is the team remains open to multiple options, including memorializing Barkley's potential legacy as a New York Giant, pending agreement on mutual terms. Memorializing Barkley's potential legacy as a New York Giant. That means his potential legacy means he wants to come back. If she didn't use the word potential and she just said memorializing Saquon Barkley's legacy as a New York Giant, then it makes no sense because he has no legacy as a New York Giant. Because in his 5 years in New York, I'm sorry to say, I'm a big fan of Saquon Barkley. We were garbage. We were trash. He was a bright spot of the team, but we were bad. We were bad. And I don't get it. Did he give us things to cheer about and be happy about? Absolutely. I'm a big fan of Saquon Barkley. The ACL injury, took some stuff out of him because there are certain runs that you see in his rookie year, in his second year, where he wouldn't get caught. But years 3 and 4 and 5, well, years 4 and 5 post ACL, he wasn't Saquon, he wasn't, quads, you know what I mean? Like you saw the reduction of the reduction of athleticism after the injury. And it happens after a major injury. You're not the same. You're not the same. He adjusted.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that with Tony Pollard right after his injury. He had his
he broke his leg.
Worst season of his career. I mean,
exactly.
With at least his rushing average.
Exactly, man. So this means he wants to come back. And the Giants are like, man, here's the thing about, a team that likes a running back. They're going to tell the running back, the game, dog. You know the game. This isn't the 90s and the 80s where running backs get paid. You know the game. The game has changed. Mel Kiper killed you. You know what the biggest, Caleb, the biggest kill shot to the running back market is? When Mel Kiper tells teams, don't draft the one in the first round, because you can find a bunch of great ones in rounds 3 and 4. They don't matter. And everyone, hate Mel Kiper, love Mel Kiper. He changed the way people evaluated a position for the worst, in a sense, because it made running backs disposable. He said, oh yeah, you can find a running back in the 4th round. And guess what the New York Giants did, Caleb? They found Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs in late rounds. Guess who were 2 of their greatest running backs in their history? Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs.
Oh.
Yeah, it happens. You draft a running back in the 1st round if you're ready to compete. The Detroit Lions with Jahmyr Gibbs. Like I tell people all the time, the Lions knew they were going to be good and they were going to push for it. That's why they drafted Gibbs. And people laughed at them. But when they made the NFC Championship game, that pick looked good, didn't it? But you don't draft.
Yeah, I mean, it can work out. I mean, we drafted Zeke like number 4.
Yes.
And that worked out pretty great for those few years. Obviously we didn't want to get where we wanted to go, but I mean, he was a big driving force for
hitting on Dak really helped big time.
Yeah, but then you can go back and we drafted Tony Pollard in the 4th. So I mean, it just depends on what you're looking to do and where you're at, and what are you gonna what are you asking? What are you asking of that running back? You asking him to be an all around back and being the driving force of your offense, or you're just looking to be a complimentary guy? That's where I think you evaluate where you're taking the running back.
Exactly, man. So Mel Kiper, running back should be mad at Mel Kiper. That's all I gotta say. You mad at somebody? You get mad at Mel. You get mad at Mel Kiper. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, I don't want to keep talking about Saquon Barkley because nothing's changed, and I don't like talking about stuff that nothing's changed. Right? We're gonna keep talking about the same thing over and over again. I don't want to talk about that. It's like talking about Daniel.
Anybody?
Not yet. No. Xavier McKinney. I think we're gonna re-sign Xavier McKinney. I think Xavier McKinney. Someone released a list of top 10 safeties in the NFL. Xavier McKinney's better than like 5 of them. Like from I think it was 6 to 10. I can make it. You can be like, yo, McKinney's better than 6 and 10. Like get out of here with this nonsense. So I think they're gonna re-sign Xavier McKinney. And I think the outburst he had with Wink Martindale was more about Wink Martindale. And guess where Wink Martindale is? He's no longer a Giant. So he had a problem with Wink. He didn't have a problem with Brian. He had a problem with Wink. And, the NFL report cards came out, Caleb. And the New York Giants had an A+ as a head coach. Players love Brian Daboll. So, so when X McKinney's talking about this, he's not talking about Brian Daboll. He's talking about Wink Martindale. So Wink's gone. X is coming back. That's simple. You read those report cards, Caleb?
Yeah. What did the Chiefs owner have the worst one?
F. It's like an F.
Yeah.
Like
which is crazy. They just won the Super Bowl and your owner, you don't like your owner? That's crazy.
Yeah, like apparently, like, okay, I'm at the NFL Players Association. The report cards are out. Let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs. You want to go through the Dallas Cowboys report cards a little bit later?
Yeah, we can go.
Yeah, so the Kansas, so Kansas City. Thank you for bringing up Kansas City. Where the hell's the K? There it is. Kansas City. They have 2 Fs in locker room and nutrition and diet in nutritionist. You know? So yeah, so Kansas City got an F in nutritionist, got an F in locker room, got an F in training staff, got a D for training room, D+ for treatment of families. Kansas City right here. 31st out of, they were second to last, Caleb. They were second to last. We're talking about the Super Bowl winning champions.
Back to back.
Back to back. Their players hate them. Hate them. Their only saving grace, Caleb. You know what's their only saving grace, Caleb?
Their coach.
A+ head coach. Ownership's an F-. How do you get an F-?
They really hate him. I don't know how you hate him so much. When
that is crazy. That is insane. But there's a theory on why people hate him. It's because he's a bit of a weirdo. Like
a weirdo.
Yeah, like he was promoting like I think it's non-sports related. That's why I hate him. Like he promoted this camp, where this camp is like pretty like I'll tell you because it's not sports related. It's not sports related. I'll tell you why. But yeah, man, they have 4 Fs. They have 4 Fs. They won the Super Bowl. They have 4 Fs. So apparently he promised them renovations to the locker room, and he didn't do it. And they asked him why it didn't happen, and the excuse he gave them was, y'all made it to the Super Bowl. It was too late.
I mean, he's got a point. I mean, he won back-to-back Super Bowls, and your facilities are, I mean, obviously that stuff doesn't matter. So
yeah,
it doesn't make you winners.
Exactly, man. It's crazy.
I mean, he's got a point.
He's got a point.
He still probably should upgrade, but still, he's got a point.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help you. You haven't needed it.
Exactly. So, have you been watching the DBs, the DB drills, Caleb?
Oh, not since we've been on here.
Okay, I'm talking about earlier. No, they started at 12 for us. You didn't watch the first 3 hours?
Yeah.
Anyone poke out? Anyone like shine a light on you? Like you were like, oh my god, look at that guy.
Not really. I mean,
no. You don't really need DBs, do you? Is that a position y'all really don't? Yeah. Like
I mean, it depends what we're doing with
Trayvon.
More for signing him back or keeping him. Well, obviously we signed Trayvon for a long term, so
yeah.
We're on plan. We still got our safeties. So it's how much we're looking towards. I mean, we're probably still going to get. We still need depth at the corner. So we need depth at safety.
Got you.
I don't think that's where we're going to go. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. All right. And then me personally, man, like I said, no one really popped out to me, but it popped out that some of these people were like the backpedaling, the drills, man. Like there's a lot of laziness, man. You got to hurry up. Like no one's running at you, right? So you can't like slow play. So you just bust out the back pedal. Show the hips, bro. Yo, man, the hips, man. It's all about the hips, Caleb. Like corners, not safeties. Corners, you need your hips to be fluid. You need to be loose in the hips. That was the problem with Israel Mokwamu out of South Carolina, who y'all made a safety. He was a DB. He was a cornerback at South Carolina. It was him and J.C. Horn.
Yeah.
But Israel, and same thing with Obi Melifonwu, their hips were stuck. They had stone hips. You got to show the fluidity in your hips. All right, Caleb. Thank you for bringing up the report cards. Let's look at the report cards for the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys report cards coming out. You were 4th in treatment of families. You had an A-. Food and cafeteria was a B, 11th. Nutritionist was B, 11th. Locker room was an A, which was second in the league. Your locker rooms are second in the league. Training staff's a C-, 26th in the league.
Does everybody have a bad training staff, or
I guess so, man. Training room. Training room is a C-. Training staff is a D+, 30th.
Yeah.
Weight room is
just
5th.
us, or is everybody else? I think
it's probably. We'll find out. later. Weight room is an A, 5th. Strength coaches B+, 17th. Team travel C-, 22nd.
Yeah, that's surprising. I mean,
with Terry's fly like charted. That's a little weird. That's a little weird.
Really surprising.
Head coach is an A, 9th.
They like Mike McCarthy. You mean?
Yeah. Ownership's a B, 19th overall. So I want to see this D+, man. Okay, here it is. The C- in the training room. Only 69% of players felt they had enough full-time trainers. Only 63% of players felt they have enough full-time physical therapists. 97% of players felt that they have enough hot tub space. So you guys have a lot of hot tubs. Good for you. 93% of players felt that they have enough cold tub spaces. So your tubs are good. Shout out to your tubs. The players felt like the training room is extremely understaffed. They felt like they couldn't get treatment done. They felt that they need more trainers and physical therapists. Players also said that the training room lacks basic equipment that can be found in any normal training room. Yo, you know what's crazy, Caleb? Some of these training rooms, colleges have better than them. Like at the Big 5 schools, some of them are way better. But here's the training staff is D+. Only 62% of players felt that they received enough one-on-one treatment. The players felt that the training staff only slightly contributes to their success. Damn. There it is. Yeah, let's see how bad the New York Giants are.
F's on everything.
We have an A. I see an A. All right. Treatment of families, C, 15th overall. Personally, man, dude, if you out here treating families like shit, dog, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's insane. 15th. Food, B, 8th. Nutritionist, 27th is a C+. Locker room is a C+.
So you just feeding the McDonald's every day?
I guess so. The training room's a B, 12th overall. And the training staff, this is Ronnie Barnes. This is all Ronnie Barnes. A-, 2nd in the league. So shout out to Ronnie Barnes. The weight room is a B at 18th. B+ for strength coaches at 15th. B+, 3rd overall. Team travel. A-, 13th out of 32. Head coach, which is crazy to me, right? Because that means there's a lot of A's. If an A- is 13th, that means there's a lot of A pluses. So shout out to the 12 people. Ownership is a B+, 14th overall. So yeah, man. They are one of 12 teams that do not provide family room during games. They do provide daycare during games. So you can't get a family room on game day, which, they want to sell those tickets. Understandable. But there is daycare. You can drop off your kid. Makes sense. They compromised one that way. They sell the booths, probably like the suites, right? The family rooms, the suites. Because there's always a suite designated as the family room where everyone's family walks in and like watches games there. They probably were like, no, we're not doing it. We're gonna sell those suites. The food so C- right here. Only 67% of players felt that they get an individualized plan, like a plan just for you. I think there's an overall plan, but no specific plans. Locker room's a C plus. 90% of players felt their locker room is big enough. So 90% felt it was big enough. Only 75% of players felt that they have enough room in their own individual lockers. Okay. Right here, man, right here. A- for the training staff. The players give head trainer Ronnie Barnes the second highest individual grade in the NFL. Shout out to Ronnie Barnes. The players felt that the training staff significantly contributes to their success. Right there. But I am excited. I am kind of excited with this A- right here by the head coach. 100% of players feel head coach Brian Daboll is efficient with their time. So he doesn't waste their time. The players feel that Brian Daboll is very willing to listen to the locker room. He listens to the locker room. You know? What's good, Big Reg? Hope you had a great birthday, my man. I hope you had a great birthday. Living big with Big Reg says, what's good, fellas? Ownership right here. Club owner John Mara receives a rating of 8.8 out of 10 from Giants players when considering his willingness to invest in facilities. So the players are big fans of John Mara and Brian Daboll. And with the Dallas Cowboys, Caleb, we talk about the head coach. We're always talking about Jerry and Mike. Jerry and Mike, we're always talking about it. Mike got an A. 96% of players feel Mike McCarthy is efficient with their time. Players feel that Mike McCarthy is willing to listen to their locker room. 4th overall and 9th overall with their time. Jerry getting a B is like he's less than John Mara. John Mara got an 8.8. Jerry got an 8.6 out of 10. So,
yeah,
you know,
it might be their feelings on how much he talks and the media stuff. And
I think it is. I generally think it is. I generally think they.
But
I think
maybe it should be worse.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be enough. I mean, works for the Chiefs.
Yeah, you know what? Be a horrible owner. Be a horrible owner so you can win.
To hate their owner to win Super Bowls. That is
exactly. The Chiefs won 3 Super Bowls out of 5 years, and they hate him. That's the craziness about this report card, Caleb. They hate that man. Shout out to Yolanda. Stop by, say hello. Shout out to Yolanda. Shout out to Reg. You know what? Speaking to the Ravens fans in chat, let's go check the Baltimore Ravens. Let's check out the Baltimore Ravens. I see a lot of B's and C's, no A's. One A. 1A is ownership. So Steve Bisciotti got an A. Head coach got a B plus.
Well, see, that's why they can't win a Super Bowl.
Because they love their coach. You need to hate your owner, and you need to hate your owner to win Super Bowls, guys. You need to hate him. Hate him. Ah, dang, bro. That's crazy, right? Like initially, I know we're making jokes about it, but did that like befuddle you? That confused you, right?
No.
Like what? Like how confused were you? Caleb?
Yes, it confused me.
Well, say it then, man. You just looked confused.
Oh, well, no. Well, I was looking at Yolanda's
Yeah, she says ownership is an A for the Ravens. Just wow. Yeah, apparently the players love the owners, but apparently you need to hate your owner to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because you hate getting an F after winning 3 Super Bowls out of 5 years, Caleb. 3 out of 5, you win a Super Bowl. And the players in this team hate you because you didn't renovate their locker room and you lied about it. And you said it's your fault. It's not renovated because y'all went out and won a Super Bowl. And then afterwards, Caleb, he then asks the city of Kansas City for like $800 million to renovate the stadium. Yeah. It's crazy, man. That's crazy. Any other thoughts, Caleb, on the draft combine, the report cards, Darren Waller almost retiring? Any Cowboys things besides the contracts?
No, that's the whole thing is how are we gonna pay all these guys? Because a lot of contracts coming up, all of our best players are but the you did see that the cap did increase by quite a lot. So we should have cap room with the new cap space that the whole NFL got. So that should help. Because we got CD, we got Micah, we got Dak. Yeah, and we didn't franchise Tony Pollard, and I was happy about that. Because we don't need a pay guy who had this season with us. And I said last year, I said we should have got rid of both of them, and they were too stupid or too stubborn to just get rid of both of them and draft somebody. Because that would have worked out better. I mean, you would have got the same production out of a rookie that you got Tony Pollard. Because Tony Pollard was never a 3-down back ever in his career, and somehow you thought he was going to get more carries and do better. That was stupid thinking. And then you got the results that you got. Now you're not franchising him, like you did last year, and you'll probably go. We'll go somewhere else now.
Yeah, pretty much, man. The New York Giants, man, the worst kept secret in all of New York is they want a QB. Duh. Like they've given. I don't understand how Daniel Jones got that contract. Like, I don't understand. Honestly, it's starting more and more to feel like John Mara gave him that deal. Because I think Joe Shane didn't want him. We're talking about Joe Shane, who's coming from Buffalo, Caleb. Buffalo made the playoffs with Brandon Beane and Joe Shane as their the GM and their assistant GM. They made the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor. And the following year, you know what Brandon Beane said? Bye. Bye. See you, Tyrod. And then he traded up to 7 to get Josh Allen. So you're telling me
And if you had done that, you would have had a worse record, which means you would have had a better pick, and then you could have maybe got the top quarterback.
So you're telling me, man, that a GM who came from that infrastructure, that team, saw that and then saw Daniel Jones.
Not that Daniel Jones won any games, but still.
But then he came to the Giants and saw Daniel Jones and said, yeah, that guy is better than Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo. Personally, no, I don't think that. The New York Giants look better with Tyrod Taylor as the quarterback. I personally didn't want Tyrod Taylor to play games because I felt like he would win us games. That's why I was okay with Tommy DeVito starting. But then
he won games.
But then he won 3 games and it pissed me off. And I was like, that's crazy. especially that Packers game, bro. That Packers game when I'm happy, but I'm mad. I'm mad and happy. Living big with Big Reg. Yeah, man. Daniel Jones robbed the Giants like Cousins been robbing the Vikings. Exactly, man. Like, I thought Joe Shane wasn't going to bring him back because I'm like, Joe Shane came from Buffalo, and Buffalo did that to Tyrod Taylor. And they're going to do that with Daniel Jones. So I'm starting to think that the reason Daniel Jones is a New York Giants quarterback is that John Mara said we're bringing him back. Because Joe Shane, Brian Daboll are like, the way Brian Daboll talks to him, you just see he's just infuriated with him. Just plan out, just annoyed. He yelled like there was one time where Daniel just kind of disregarded him and Daboll loses his mind. Like, bro, like you stinking up the joint. And I think it's over. Daniel Jones is not going to be the quarterback of the New York Giants. It's done. Hey, man, I'll say this, Caleb. If there's a trade happening, the Giants moving up. The Giants are moving up. If a trade happens, they're moving up.
They should. I mean,
yeah.
It's the only way they get a better quarterback than they do now.
Yeah. But on that note, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ferris Muthana. You are listening to Good Friends, Better Rivals on this great Friday afternoon. You can find me on Twitter at Ferris Muthana. You can find me here every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific on Good Friends, Better Rivals, as well as 8 o'clock Pacific on our entertainment channel. Me and Adelia Chamberlain of the Open Table coming back today. We're talking pro wrestling. Sorry. We're talking pro wrestling with special guest Caleb Ochoa. So we're getting a double. Debut. Yeah, we're going to double dipping today. Double dipping. So we'll see y'all at 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. If y'all want to swing by, talking pro wrestling. So we'll see about that. We're also, you can make sure to guys. I know I forgot to do this. I forgot to do this during the show because I got a little sidetracked. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We've reached 130. And hit that notification bell. Let's get to 150. So let's get to that. Shout out to our audio listeners on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, Radio Republic, Stitcher, Anchor, Radio Republic, and the Brazilian Podcasting Network. We appreciate you so much. Caleb, where can people find you?
Find me at NFLKO22 on Instagram and Twitter/X. And you can find me tonight, 8 o'clock. Open table.
As well as every Thursday, 3 o'clock Pacific, the Rewatchers Council with me, Snark, and Adelia. This week we didn't have our show because of unforeseen circumstances. Adelia's town caught on fire. So we had to postpone it. But you will find me and Adelia tomorrow, 2 o'clock Saturday, the Scrum Down, where we talk all rugby. Rugby it is, baby. Gonna rugby it up. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace. Where we break down the full combine in a bit, because QBs and running backs and wide receivers are all on Saturday. So peace. Yeah.